Greetings, YouTube. This one is a dumbfounding level of victim blaming. So, in Minnesota, the police have decided that their best response to cops gunning down people of color during traffic stops is to offer to the community a clear plastic envelope that will contain your proof of insurance, your registration, and your license. Yes, they expect you to get into your car, take your wallet out, remove your license, put it into the plastic envelope, and put it where it's clearly visible. Then when you get out of the car, remove it, put it back in your wallet, and then go along your way. Every single time you get into your car to go somewhere. All right, even though you're supposed to have your ID with you, if you need it outside the car, say if you need to get booze, or you need to use a credit card or cash a check, those are things that are appropriate reasons to ask for somebody's ID. Voting is not one of them. And this is their response to their cops gunning down black people and brown people. Rather than, say, firing all the racists on their force, which could very well reduce their force numbers to 0, and blaming the black and brown people for their cops' murderous aggression towards people of color. Does anyone else think that this is a stupefying level of victim blaming? You are putting the onus onto the victims of police violence to make some kind of an effort to avoid having themselves murdered by trigger-happy racists. And of course, the cops at this point will have to say, well, I didn't see their clear plastic envelope, so I'm assuming that they were armed and dangerous. Because that is the supposition. The idea is if you have this information in your glove box, which is where your proof of your registration is, potentially your proof of insurance. I keep my proof of insurance in my wallet because that goes with me from car to car, because it actually would help me if I'm driving somebody else's car, even if that's not my car. I'm still insured. I'm insured, all right? So I need that with me at all times. Just like if I'm going to drive, I need my license on my person at all times. But they are so racist that they assume that if a person of color reaches into a glove box, they're going to pull a weapon out and kill the cop. Or if they reach into their pocket, I keep my wallet in my left pocket. If I were to reach into my pocket and remove my wallet, that I'm a white guy, I'm probably not going to get shot. But a black person doing that, obviously, they are going to pull out a knife or a gun and murder the cop. I want the person that thought of this, and every person on the hierarchy of command above that level, those that said we need a solution, and those that all agreed that this was a solution, I want them all fired. I want them stripped of their right to ever work in law enforcement again. They will have to leave the country if they want to be a cop again. That is the only appropriate response to this. And now explain something to me. Why do traffic cops have firearms? There are dozens, hundreds, 100+ countries out there where cops don't carry firearms. You don't need firearms to pull somebody over because they have a tail light out. But in America you do, because the threat of violence is built into our policing system. Remember where the origins of the American policing system came from. Slave patrols. That is where the origins of policing in America evolved from. Slave patrols. And they've never changed their narrative since. The idea that a black person wandering around on their own must be an escaped slave is now been transformed into any black person out in the public is an instant danger to any cop. Whether they're 12-year-olds in a park, or just walking down the street, or conducting an unlicensed form of business, or maybe passing a questionable piece of currency or check, or being stopped by the police. for a traffic violation, all of those are justified in murder in the minds of American law enforcement. Just gun the fuck down and make up an excuse later. Yeah, this is amazing. Now, there aren't going to be any repercussions from this. They may rescind the program. I imagine they will. But there isn't going to be any ramifications. No one's going to be fired for this. No one's going to get a hit to their pay in any way. This will just get swept under the rug. Probably by the next time a cop murders somebody in Minnesota, that will probably be what the next thing will be, to help the public forget about the clear plastic envelope idea when the cops just go out and murder a person of color, which they probably have done since I've read this article. I wouldn't be surprised if that was true. So yeah, this is one of the greatest levels of victim blaming I have ever encountered. Institutionalized, systemic victim blaming. It's terrifying, and it needs to stop. And we need to disarm the police.